everybody, welcome back to the Chunky Studios. This is Jordan. Today you have another emergency update on Hurricane Melissa, as it is now bringing impacts to the Bahamas, but will soon be done with the Bahamas, and then it will move up towards Bermuda, bringing more significant impacts. It could bring some tropical storm force winds to the southeastern portions of Newfoundland and Canada also, and eventually it could also head up towards portions of Europe. So anyways, let's get straight into this emergency update. First of all, I'm going to talk about the forecast for Hurricane Melissa, because it is now much weaker, but is expected to intensify a little bit before it heads up towards Bermuda, brings up significant impacts, and it will also eventually become extratropical and start to gradually weaken into a tropical storm force system. So anyways, let's talk about the forecast for Hurricane Melissa. First of all, I'm going to talk about the official National Hurricane Center forecast. You can see right now Melissa is located over the southeastern Bahamas and is now quickly moving off to the northeast towards Bermuda over the next few days. You can see right now it's moving at northeast at 16 miles an hour, and it is also at 90 miles an hour for a pressure of 974 millibars. The pressure is still low for its intensity, but that's because this pressure is low to start off with, so it's going to be low for quite a while. Looking at our forecast advisory here, you can see right now sustained winds 90 miles an hour before it gets up to 115 miles an hour. Expected to strengthen again before reaching another peak of 90 knots or 105 miles an hour when it gets up to 110 knots or 125 miles an hour before it gradually weakens, eventually becoming post-tropical as it moves off to the northeast of Bermuda there, and eventually passing by Newfoundland and dissipating eventually. Looking at our forecast cone here, you can see right now located over southeastern Bahamas has a decently large tropical storm force wind field. Can't really see the hurricane force wind field. We do have a hurricane warning for Bermuda, although the forecast cone is pretty thin there. Doesn't look like we're gonna have much of a variation in the location of the storm for the next several days. Before the cone was much larger, now it's pretty thin, but you can see it will pass very close to southeastern Newfoundland, potentially bringing tropical storm force winds there, also likely bringing some tropical storm force to hurricane force winds to portions of Bermuda. Look at our current satellite imagery here. You can see it's starting to get another convective burst. Convection is looking pretty good now. You can still see that the system still has some rotation there. Not as strong as it was. You can tell it's not near as strong as it was, but this may be the starting of a second period of intensification back up to a Category 2 or potentially even a low-end Category 3 hurricane. Look at our models. Here's the HFSA. You can see this is about an hour or two behind, but you can see here that right now it's located around the southeastern Bahamas here. It will move off to the northeast over the next couple of days. It has it peaking at 90 knots or 105 miles an hour, pretty similar to the National Hurricane Center forecast there. As it passes by Bermuda, it will be probably a Category 1 hurricane at that point, and you can see eventually it has it moving off towards the northeast as well, getting close to Newfoundland there. And eventually it moves off to the northeast here, eventually dissipating as it gets pretty far north. Look at the HEFSB. This has it being at 111 miles an hour, although as you can see it has it weakening quite significantly, possibly a low-end Category 3 peak there at 100 knots or 115 miles an hour. As it moves by Bermuda here, it is a high-end Category 2 hurricane strength, and eventually as it moves off towards Newfoundland, you can see that it has it being around high-end tropical storm force. There will obviously be some strong winds on land, but a lot of these models struggle showing strong winds on land, really. Look at our Google DeepMind model for Melissa. You can see it has it briefly peak as a Category 3 before eventually moving up to Bermuda, weakening to a Category 1, eventually becoming a extratropical tropical storm near Newfoundland. going to talk about the impacts of Melissa, especially in Bermuda and along the east coast. In Bermuda, we will likely see some tropical storm to hurricane force winds, as well as some significant rainfall and potentially some significant storm surge as well. So make sure you're prepared for that in Bermuda. Also along the east coast of the United States, you will likely see some rip currents in some areas. There's a high risk of rip currents in the next few days, and also watch out for some higher rates than usual. If you're in southeastern Newfoundland, watch out for some tropical storm force winds and some higher waves there. So now let's talk about the impacts of Melissa. First of all, looking at the wind speed probabilities here, you can see the southeastern Bahamas are currently experiencing tropical storm force winds. Have also continued off to the northeast through Bermuda there. Bermuda has a high chance of seeing some tropical storm force winds. Southeastern Newfoundland, you will likely see some tropical storm force winds likely later this week or early next week. Probably over a weekend. You can see there you have a moderate chance of seeing some tropical storm force winds, and as it moves off to the northeast, actually the tropical storm force winds get cut off because of how far it goes north. Once it gets to around the latitude of Greenland there, around 60 north, the tropical storm force winds get cut off there. So they're probably not going to be a big issue up there anyways, because there's very no land for it to hit. Look at the key messages for Melissa. You can see the Bahamas continue to watch for hurricane conditions, significant storm surge, and significant rainfall, but the tropical storm conditions are expected to move out of the area later tonight. In Bermuda, they are expecting hurricane force winds and some heavy rainfall in Bermuda beginning late Thursday through Friday morning most likely. You could also see some significant storm surge. But most likely, you will at least see some significant rainfall and some tropical storm force winds to hurricane force winds. And also, after the storm has hit, make sure it's safe to go outside before doing so. Now looking at rip currents, you can see along portions of the eastern Florida coast, a lot of the eastern Florida coast, along a portion of the southeastern North Carolina coast, of the northeastern North Carolina coast, and along portions of the coast of like Rhode Island there and Massachusetts. You could see some you will likely see some rip currents, and along the entire area along the east coast you have at least a chance of some rip currents. If we look at tomorrow's rip current risk, waiting for this to load here, hopefully this will load. Maybe not. Oh, here we go. Likely just pretty similar areas along the east coast. If you're along the east coast, just make sure to watch for some rip currents. Here is what the composite looks like. Gonna take a few seconds to load because it has to load quite a bit of information actually, I think. Here, yeah, you can see generally along the southeastern coast and a sliver of the northeastern coast is where we will have to watch for some rip currents over the next couple of days. Anyways, that's all I have for this video. If you know anyone in the impacted areas, especially Bermuda, make sure to share this video with them. Also like my video and subscribe to my channel so that YouTube will push this video out and more videos out to more people so that more people see this hopefully in impacted areas. And also don't forget to comment down below about what you think about all this. Goodbye.